Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tuariki Delamere. I am the current Managing Director and Principal Consultant for TDA Immigration, and I used to be the former Minister of Immigration. I'd like to welcome you to this TDA presentation. Today I'm going to give a brief overview of some of the issues to do with family category partnership. The main thing here for everyone is you have to prove to Immigration New Zealand that if you are seeking a visa, whether it's a work visa or a residence visa under partnership, you must prove that your relationship is genuine and stable. So what is a genuine and stable relationship? Well, genuine is a partnership where you are living together as a couple, sharing your lives together, having commitment to each other. And stable, well, what is a stable partnership? To be honest, I'm not really sure. It differs for everybody. But I do know what's unstable. Okay? Unstable, fighting in public. I've had clients in trouble for that. They were fighting in public, reported to the police, became knowledgeable to immigration, causes big problems. Putting your partner in hospital, that's a real big problem. You don't want to be doing that because you're not going to get a pass and approval on your application. Don't call the Immigration New Zealand officer and tell them that your partner is an a-hole. I had that once with one client, called up the immigration officer, said that about her partner who was applying, and literally an hour later, a letter was delivered from Immigration New Zealand saying the partner had been approved in principle for his residence visa. 2 days later, another letter arrived cancelling that approval. If you're angry with your partner, count to 10, go outside, don't call immigration, don't punch them in public, don't put them in hospital. And don't go and leave them to live with mum and dad. That's not a good idea either. And while you read about this in the public arena with politicians, not a good idea if you're looking to get a partnership visa for you to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Anyway, that's some of the issues that involve instability. You have those, you're probably in trouble with your application. Now, evidence. You have to prove to New Zealand that your relationship is genuine. If you're married, obviously it's a heck of a lot easier than if you're in de facto. Marriage is a legal commitment. You have a document, same as civil union, that says the date you got married or the date you entered in the civil union. If you're in a de facto partnership, there is no record of when you started that partnership. In fact, you and your partner may well disagree as to exactly when you started. But you need to convince Immigration New Zealand that your partnership started at least on a certain date. So you need to prove your relationship. You need to prove that you are truly and genuinely in a stable partnership. Okay? Some of the things where you can do that, evidence that you're living together with your children. That's a pretty good start. A marriage certificate. If you're married or civil union, you provide those certificates. Any evidence you have that you're living at the same address, you should get that together. If you bought a home together, that's a good one. You'll have legal documents showing that you have joint home ownership. You probably have a mortgage with the bank, should have both your names on it. Or you may be renting a home. If you're going to rent a home, get your rental agreement as a joint rental agreement. Bank accounts. Immigration New Zealand have a fascination with bank accounts and that you should have a joint bank account. Whether you agree with it or not, my advice, get it done. Make sure you have joint bank accounts. Now, other evidence comes from letters from your parents, your uncles, your brothers and sisters, cousins. All of those are very helpful. Telling them that you are in a relationship, you are married, you are in a civil union. The more evidence you can provide on that, the better. Similar documents from friends, work colleagues, also very helpful. One I like, for example, is your next door neighbour who may not know you, but they do know that you live together in the house next door. That can be very helpful because it comes across as very genuine and very independent. You don't want people lying about your relationship, but if they can commit to saying that you are living together, that's helpful. Your local shopkeepers, another source. Photos, obviously if you're going to have photos there, try and get the date stamped so that immigration can see when they were taken. Having photos of events that can be time checked. For example, a newspaper headline in the background. Travel documentation. If you've traveled together, save those airline tickets, save those seating tickets, the boarding passes, save your hotel receipts. It's all good. You can't have too much evidence of your partnership. Okay? Now, some other issues. How long you have to live together. If you're applying for residence, you can't apply until you've lived together for at least 12 months. Once you've lived together for 12 months and you can prove it, you are entitled to a residence visa. For a temporary visa, which is usually a partnership or working visa, legally, the moment you enter that relationship is the moment you're entitled to the visa. Obviously, if you're getting married in a civil union, you have a definite start date on a legal document. If you're in a de facto relationship, obviously a lot harder to prove when it started. But technically, yes, you're entitled the day you start your relationship. Just very hard to prove on day one or day two. A few other comments before I close. Prior relationships. Okay, nothing wrong with prior relationships, unless you use one of them to gain residence or sponsor someone else. You're allowed to do it once before, and then you have one last shot. You can only do it 2 times in your whole life. Okay, so if you're entering in a relationship under partnership, be careful, make sure it's genuine and committed. Don't be tricked into doing it. Unfortunately, we've come across many instances where the person seeking the visa was using a New Zealand citizen or resident to gain the visa. As soon as they got it, they were out the door and gone back to their own country to get the person they really wanted to bring in. So be very careful of that. Gay relationships, we have no distinction in this country. One of the first decisions I took when I was Minister of Immigration was to equalise gays and heteros as far as their rights to visas. If you're not yet divorced, that's not a bar from getting a visa for your new partner. However, it's obviously a little bit harder. You have to show that you are going through the divorce process, and you'll need to provide evidence of that. More than one partner, some cultures that's allowed, it's not allowed in New Zealand. You can't sponsor more than one partner at the same time. So anyway, that's a quick snapshot overview of partnership. TDA, we've done literally hundreds, probably thousands of them, from the easy to the difficult. One of our famous clients was 22 years old, young man from India, married a lady who was about 61, I think, a New Zealander. We won that case after they'd been declined when they came to New Zealand. So we can do the easy, we can do the difficult. If you're in a genuine relationship, we will fight for your rights to be with your partner. So anyway, our motto at TDA, Bia Feng Chi, don't give up. We're here to help if we can. So thanks for listening and hope this has been helpful.